Hey, it's Ed here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Ethereum with Elliott Wave Theory. Overall, on a higher time frame, let's take a look at the 4 hour first. The idea has been that we have had a three-way structure coming down. We had another possibility where this structure here would be part of another wave X, and we would be creating a WXYXZ in here. I don't think that is that good looking at the moment, because again we have not even yet taken out these lows that we had around in June. But yeah, the main idea is that we have had a three-way structure into the lows of June. Since then, again, we had either a five-way structure from the lows or a three-way structure. Bearish one would be this three-way structure where we'd be correcting a previous move up to these highs, or this would be the start of that correction where we would be creating something like that. Very similar for the bull case, where this would be a five-way structure into the highs of a wave. We did have that divergences here, so that is something that goes for it. Invalidation for these bullish counts would be at these lows of $870, where we are taking out these lows of June. If that happens, this is no longer a zigzag, at least it doesn't have that possibility. On Bitcoin, we have already taken out these lows, so the likeliness of this being something more than just an ABC is very slim. I don't see any possibility, or I don't see any realistic possibility for this to be a 1-2 scenario. But of course it can be a ABC as long as we don't take out these lows. What else did we have? We had a few different ideas. Of course, if we had that as the third wave here, the fourth wave, we could have this as a wave 1-2 of lower degree, or this would be a wave, again, 1-2 of a diagonal that we could have here happening for the fifth. At the moment, the slope, what we would be having here is not that good. It would take a long time for this to form into a diagonal that looks good, so I don't think that is very likely. And also, this was already a five-way structure, which again only happens on leading, so again disregard that diagonal idea. Also, the structure that we have here looks more like a five-way structure. We did have that divergence here, so I don't think this is very much likely at all due to that. The main idea overall would be that from these highs we would be having this as a WX and looking for wave Y. There's a couple of different ideas here for this wave A and wave B. One of them is saying that wave A ended at these lows here or these lows. So those are both possible. On Bitcoin, it definitely looks better ending at these lows that we have labeled this A wave at now. We have more clear of a divergence here at the end. Is very much of a similar level that these ended up into, but again we had the triangle here and the potential fifth wave, so we would have some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, something like this for this wave A. One-to-one extension, if we are comparing the wave X here of higher degree to this B wave, would be around 5th of January, so that is still some time away. And in here we see that we had a highest RSI region here. If we want to be having a good looking count here, I would expect us to take out these highs on RSI before we are heading downwards. So B definitely might not be in here, because again I don't have a really good looking count that would end the B wave up there, but instead we have this count. Let's zoom in a bit. So again, if we are starting from the lows here, disregard all this mess here. Let's actually get rid of that. Disregard this. Again, this would be the end of that fifth wave. We would have this as a ABC into W, ABC into X. Again, we had on higher time frame, we would not have a divergence. We would have divergence here between these two peaks, giving us some kind of potential of this being a expanded flat like so into the wave X. So we would have W, X, and then we would be looking for wave Y to take out most likely these highs, unless this turns into some kind of a triangle. That is always a messy thing if it happens, and does not really give us good proportions by any means. But yeah, that is definitely something that could happen for that wave 2. So if that wave 2 would be this kind of structure where we would be taking out these highs, it wouldn't be too bad of a look. If we are comparing this wave Y against this wave W here, we would have something like this, 28th of December as the time. I don't think that is going to happen because again, we've definitely haven't had quite a lot of movement here recently. It's been very sideways since the potential low of MEXC Wave here. This count is a bit different than on Bitcoin, but again, this is the best scenario or best looking structure that I currently have, so I'm just going to go with this one. Overall, there is a chance that wave C is already done here, where we would have this as an ABC. I don't think this is large enough for the wave Y because again, we did not hit the 0.618 extension of the higher degree wave WX. So I don't think this is done. This probably should be downgraded in the lower degrees, but again, we're getting shorts on these on the degrees itself. So overall, we could be having this as a three-way structure like so. The only issue I have with this is that we had a very much lower low here on RSI. I don't really like that at all. If we are comparing it to the previous lows here on 3rd of 3rd, we're just slightly above that, which is still giving us the scenario or the signal that, okay, we are still within this correction, and until that breaks, then we can be certain that this is still on the move. Again, this is not very pretty at all. We are seeing large divergences here between the start or origin of wave A and the end of B wave. So that was what drove this C wave upwards. Then a potential three-way structure in here. This is again looking quite a bit shorter than this one in time and in price. So maybe this is another connector wave where we are going to be needing another structure like this here to create a structure like this overall downwards before we are actually creating another structure like this upwards. So this would be something that we would want. Again, if we are creating these kind of moves, we can see that we are not even close to the 0.618 in comparison to this move here from these local bottoms. So I think we need some kind of meaningful structure here, something that is actually giving us a bit more momentum. Hopefully, maybe Bitcoin's movement is going to help us propel this move upwards a bit, giving us this possibility before moving downwards. Again, the idea here is a continuation to the downside, same as Bitcoin, although the structures inside here is a bit different. On Bitcoin, I do think that this is going to be holding these highs. On ETH, I wouldn't be so sure. The structures, trying to get the structures end at these highs on ETH is not that great. Because again, here, if we are looking at these extensions, we do not hit the 0.618 extension, which is a bit odd. Generally, when we want to be seeing a three-way structure, we want to be seeing that 0.618 hit. But yeah, that is that. As long as we don't take out these highs, that is still a possibility that this is the start of something, although I don't prefer it due to the proportions of this move. So that is that. Overall, expectation downwards. When we are taking out these current highs here, or I would be probably looking for short setups, and especially if we are getting up to these highs here of around 12.7k ish, I would be looking for short setups against these highs. I think those are the best areas to look for. There's definitely some resistance there for sure. There's quite a few different order blocks here that are most likely giving us some resistance if we are to push up higher. But those are the trades I would be looking for on Ethereum. I don't think I would be looking for long setups unless we are taking out these lows here. At that point, again, we could be creating something like this overall, which would potentially be that scenario before we are again looking for those shorts from here. I think those are the expectations I have for ETH at the very moment. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. If you want to be learning more about Elliott Waves, there's a basics course on Patreon. If that is for you, check it out. If not, thanks for your support just by watching these videos as well. But see you on the next videos. Bye bye.